What would it take for you to move to another state? Can it be a cheaper cost of living? What about affordable housing? Are you looking for new job opportunities or just a place to be comfortable, to raise a family, or to retire? Various factors go into determining the affordability of a state. These factors include prices for food, shelter, and transportation, in addition to employment opportunities. In this video, we look at some of the best states to move to in 2023, based on job opportunities, lifestyle, affordability, and more. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button for when new videos are posted. So let's get right into it. Coming in at number 10, Oklahoma. Oklahoma has a long history of a cowboy culture and its Native American history and population. With its beautiful landscapes, nature, and scenery, Oklahoma is listed as one of the most affordable states to live in the United States. Oklahoma is home to the green hills of the Ozarks, to the majestic red rocks formations of the Wichita Mountain. Traditional foods such as chicken fried steak, which is beef steak breaded and fried, are served within many southern states, with mashed potatoes and gravy. Nicknamed the Sooner State, this is due to an increased number of settlers that settled in the state before it even became an official state. Oklahoma has the third lowest cost of living, making it financially affordable. In addition, its unemployment rate is the 10th lowest in the country, so finding a job should not be too difficult. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics rank Oklahoma the top 1/3 of all states for the lowest unemployment rates. There are big companies such as U.S. Department of Defense, Walmart, and Chickasaw Nation Game and Business Company. Let's look at housing. Low cost for property or rent, utilities, and transportation make it an ideal attraction for young families or couples. It has an urban feel in a mid-sized city without the hectic traffic and hustle and bustle of a big city. Does Oklahoma sound like a place you would want to move to? Let's get into number 9, Colorado. Colorado is naturally beautiful, a great place for nature lovers with its rivers, mountains, canyon, and forests. It's not only an ideal place to ski, but it can also be an ideal place to live and raise a family. This is why it's on the best places to live in the United States. Let's look at what Colorado has to offer. If you enjoy being outdoors, participate in skiing, hiking, walking on trails, and camping in the summer months, Colorado may be the place for you. Did you know Colorado is said to be known as the birthplace of the cheeseburger? I would like to say thank you, Colorado. In fact, in 1935, a man named Louis Fallis at the Humpty Dumpty Drive-In in Denver, Colorado, invented the cheeseburger. He grilled a piece of cheese on a hamburger patty until it melted. Another first for Colorado. In 1869, the first rodeo was held. It started as a 4th of July celebration put on by a few cowboys. It became so popular that it became a yearly tradition. Now it's made into a professional sporting event called the rodeo. Just some interesting facts about Colorado if you do decide to move. Let's get into the cost of living and the affordability. According to the U.S. Best Places to Live online data, the average cost of living based on housing, groceries, transportation, utilities, healthcare, and other miscellaneous things, Colorado is rated at 120.5 out of 100, which is the U.S. national average. This means it costs more to live in Colorado than other parts of the U.S. So, if you want to live in Colorado, it will cost you more than other states. The employment opportunities are overall positive, with an increase of 3% over the past year. The salary average is at $56,448, and cost of medium home is $488,600, and the overall unemployment rate in Colorado is 6.5. That is compared to the U.S. average of 6.0%. Although it's not the cheapest state to live, with all the factors, I see why it's on the best places to live. It's based on the quality of your life, more so than the affordability. These are things to consider if you are planning to move to the beautiful state of Colorado. Moving on to number 8, Tennessee. The attractive state of Tennessee is known for its famous cities, Nashville and Memphis. Also, its legendary famous country singer, Elvis. Tennessee is the 10th most affordable state to live in the United States. Tennessee has no state taxes. Therefore, you are not taxing your personal income from the state. In other words, you get to keep more of your personal income. To offset this benefit, the state instead makes its revenue with high sales taxes. Tennessee has the second highest sales tax in the country at 9.55%. According to the U.S. cost of living, Tennessee is rated at 89.9 out of 100, which is in the U.S. national average. This means the cost of living is cheaper in Tennessee compared to other parts of the U.S. The median home prices is at $231,600 compared to the average home prices in the U.S., which is at $291,700. The job growth is at 1.8% over the past year, and the average salary is at $44,621. So let's move on now to number 7, Kansas. Kansas is located in the center of the United States, bordering 4 other United States. Kansas is known for oil wells, its wheat production, and let's not forget the famous Wizard of Oz. It is known as the wheat capital of the world and the leading supplier of beef cattle. Did you know that the first Pizza Hut was opened in Kansas in 1958? Two brothers, the Carneys, borrowed $600 to open the first Pizza Hut. Fast forward, Pizza Hut is worldwide. The first Pizza Hut in Kansas has now been converted to the Pizza Hut Museum. Kansas sounds like an ideal place to live. So what makes it ideal? Let's look at the cost of living, the job opportunities, and more. With the cost of living 14% below and housing 29% compared to the national average. The utilities sits at 1%. Food and clothing, groceries are about 9% lower than the rest of the country, while clothing is at 9% lower. Healthcare service is 1% higher in Kansas compared to the national average, and entertainment and grooming services are 9% lower. The unemployment rate is 3.8% compared to the U.S. average at 6%. There has been an increase of 0.5% over the last year with job opportunities, and the salary is averaged at $51,872. Home prices is at $177,400. Based on the statistic, it looks like it's a bit cheaper to live in Kansas compared to the other parts of the United States. Let's move on to number 6, Illinois. Illinois is known for its famous city of Chicago, its contribution to the automotive industry, the land of the presidents, the birthplace of McDonald's, and let's not forget Route 66. But did you know why it's known as the land of the presidents? Because it's the birthplace or home to at least 8 of the U.S. presidents. To name a few, Abraham Lincoln, Ronald Reagan, and Barack Obama. It is listed as number 6 on our best places to live. And let's see why. Overall, the cost of living in Illinois is 6% lower compared to the national average. Housing is 14% lower. Utilities is at 4% lower. Food, clothing, groceries are around 4% lower than the rest of the country. And clothing is 4% lower. Healthcare services is 1% lower in Illinois. Entertainment and grooming services are 4% lower compared to the national average. In Illinois, it's $57,166, and the median home prices is at $234,000. So to sum it up, it depends where you decide to move in Illinois. If you move to Chicago, expect that you're going to pay more to live there. If you move in some of the other parts of Illinois, the cost of living is more affordable. So let's move on to number 5. Number 5 is Texas, with a tax burden rate of 8.19%. Texas is known to many as the Lone Star State, famous for its barbecue, ranch, and cattle, and iconic cowboys. Who doesn't love Texas? Texans are known for being friendly and welcoming, so it's no wonder it is at number 5 on our best place to live list. With more and more people moving to Texas because of its cheaper cost of living, it is at 6% below the national average. So the average cost to buy a home in Texas is $241,100. This makes home ownership more affordable and more achievable. Keep in mind, however, for bigger cities such as Austin and Frisco, you will pay more. You can pay upwards to $400,000. And if you do decide to rent as well, the rents are higher in those cities as well. However, in smaller towns and cities, it tends to be cheaper. So before you make a decision do your research. See which city is more affordable. So Texas is actually 8% below the national average when it comes to the cost of living. For housing, it's actually 15% lower, and you do pay 2% higher in utilities. Food and clothing, groceries are 4% lower, and when it comes to retail, such as buying clothes, it's 4% lower compared to the rest of the US. The healthcare services are 4% lower in Texas, and the entertainment and grooming costs are at least 4% lower. The unemployment rate in Texas is at 7.2%. That is compared to the national average of 6.0% in the US. Although there has been an increase in employment rate by 2.6%, the average salary is at $52,576. And the median home cost in Texas is $243,600. Interesting fact. Did you know that 3 of the United States president came from Texas? Can you guess who? Stay tuned to see if you know who these 3 presidents are. So there are no personal income taxes. It's even written in the Texas Constitution. So to pay for their infrastructure, their costs and services, the income is used from sales and any excise tax. Keep in mind, in some places, sales taxes can be 8.25%, and property taxes is higher than compared to other states. However, Texas taxes is still considered pretty low, and so it is its affordability. So let's get back to those 3 presidents from Texas. Did you guess your 3 presidents as yet? Let's see if you got them right. So number 1 is Lyndon Baines Johnson, 2, George H.W. Bush, and 3, George W. Bush. Okay, let's move on now to number 4, Michigan. Often referred to as the Great Lakes state. Michigan is beautiful. It borders 4 of the Great Lakes: Superior, Huron, Michigan, and Lake Erie. Did you know that these lakes contain 21% of the world's fresh surface water? That is more than all the combined rivers in the world. Michigan has a great history. It's known as the Motor City for its auto industry, and it's the main home to GM, Chrysler, Ford. Take for instance, Detroit is the biggest city in Michigan. It was once the world's leading manufacturer of automobiles. The Henry Ford Museum is in Dearborn, and the Automotive Hall of Fame is located in Detroit. Did you know that Michigan was the first to have a tunnel connecting 2 countries? The Detroit-Windsor Tunnel, built under the Detroit River from 1929 to 1930 and opened on October 1st, 1930. It runs 552 meters. That is 1,811 feet long. Let's look at some of the benefits of living in Michigan and why it would be a place for you to consider moving to. So the cost of living is 10% lower, and housing is 23% lower compared to the national average. Utilities is at least 1% higher. Food, clothing, and grocery is 4% lower. Healthcare is at 3% lower in Michigan, and entertainment and any grooming services is at 4% lower. This is compared to the national average. The unemployment rate is at 5.2% compared to the US, with average rate of 6.0. Jobs has increased by 0.7% over the past year, and the average salary is at $49,087. The median home prices in Michigan is $207,800. So it looks like the cost of living in Michigan is more affordable. Let's move on to number 3, which is Minnesota. Minnesota is on the list, and let's see why that is. Minnesota is known for its natural beauty, with its natural landscapes and breathtaking views. Minnesota is a Midwest state that borders Wisconsin and Iowa. It is nicknamed the state of 10,000 lakes. Minnesota is home to over 11,000 natural lakes. It accounts for 5% of the freshwater lakes in the U.S. Minnesota is also home or the headquarters to Target, Pillsbury, and Best Buy. Not to mention the Twin Cities, St. Paul and Minneapolis. The 2 cities are densely populated. Minnesota is 60,828, and the cost of a home is at $300,100. So let's move on now to number 2, which is North Dakota. How much do we know about North Dakota? I must admit, I did not know much at the onset of my research. Interestingly, North Dakota is on the border of Manitoba, Canada. It is nicknamed the Peace State This is due to the International Peace Garden that borders North Dakota and Canada, and it is a symbol of peace between the two countries. Beautiful scenery, landscapes are found all through North Dakota. This includes lakes, river, valleys, rugged badlands, and woodlands. North Dakota is quite the breath of fresh air for those deciding to relocate to this beautiful state. North Dakota has so much to offer. So let's look at the cost of living. Cost of living in North Dakota is actually 2% lower compared to the rest of the US. The housing is 6% lower. Utilities is 5% lower. Food, clothing, groceries are around 3% lower compared to the rest of the country. However, the healthcare service is 12% higher in North Dakota compared to the rest of the country. And if you're looking at entertainment and grooming, it is 3% lower. The cost of a home in North Dakota, the average cost is $240,200. Coming in at number 1, the state of Washington. It is known as the Evergreen State, and that is due to its lush forest and beautiful scenery. It was officially named after George Washington in 1889, home to the Seattle Seahawks in the famous city, Seattle. Washington, as I said, is number 1 on our best places to live. Did you know that Washington is the birthplace to the famous iconic Starbucks in 1971? It opened its first store in the Pike Place Market. Washington has a higher cost of living, 13%. However, there is no state taxes. So that means you get to keep more of your income. When it comes to housing, it is 22% higher than the national average, 10% lower when it comes to utilities, 12% higher when it comes to groceries, clothing, and food. So when it also comes to healthcare, it is 22% higher. And entertainment, grooming is 12% higher. So it looks like the cost of living is higher in Washington. But I guess the reason why it is number 1 on this list is because Washington is beautiful. It has no state tax. It's a desirable place to live. And therefore, I could see why they may have chosen this to be the number 1 place to live. But let me know what you think. Do you agree with this list? Do you live in one of these states? Or are you planning to move to one of these states? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. And let me know what other videos